Houston Rockets are ready to make the playoffs. Josh, you've been watching them.
Yeah.
Buy or sell?
I'm gonna buy. I'm gonna buy this. I mean, I like how they look. I think that teams that I thought were going to be a real problem in the West this year have kind of fallen off a little bit. Like we talked about, the Clippers, Lakers, Suns aren't looking like themselves, right? I think there's room for them to be there. The big question for me is, right, they're sharing the ball well, they're playing hard, all those things, but that's a lot easier to do at the beginning of the season than it is as you get deeper in the season. Right, guys start separating themselves, being the leading scorers, and then all of a sudden jealousy begins to set in. Right at the beginning of the year, man, you have those meetings and everybody's all preaching, "Yeah, we want to win a title, whatever it takes."
Unless you're the
whatever
Bulls.
it takes.
Yeah,
right. Let's just survive.
But we just got 81 more to go. Let's just get through this.
Everybody's all on board at the beginning of the season, man, but it gets a lot harder as the season goes on and jealousy starts to rear its head a little bit. Now, they do have some mature guys there, and I think Ime can kind of keep some things in check, but that's the question mark to me, is how they handle as the season goes on, any jealousy or any issues internally that may pop up.
Jay, if you had watched the Rockets, do you think you'd be buying or selling
this? I'm buying the Rockets, man. It's kind of exactly what I predicted.
No, it's not. Honestly. You said 40. You said 40 wins. You said no playoffs.
That's fair.
So it's not exactly what you predicted. That is,
however, the reason why I thought the Rockets would exceed everyone else's expectations was because that group has a lot of tough dudes. They have a lot of athleticism on the wing. They have a lot of rugged guys who are very smart defensively, and you can build a vision out of that.
Quickly he bailed out of that, lying about exactly what I predicted.
It's precisely what I predicted.
It's those
everything that I predicted has come true.
Nice.
So you've got them going. What would that be? 34 and 39 the rest of the way.
They might be better than I thought. They probably are better than I thought.
So nothing like you predicted.
Is Dillon Brooks actually going to have an efficient season? Their offense has probably overachieved to some extent right now. Like their point guard Fred VanVleet is shooting 38% from the field, and I don't think it's going to be much better than that because it was similar to that in Toronto last year, and I love VanVleet. Dillon Brooks is shooting 55%. Like
I don't know if this is
that's not going to happen. I do think he's playing differently though, and maybe it's because Ime is just on him about shot selection more so than Taylor Jenkins ever was.
I don't know if this is fair to like demote them with, but is the shooting a product of changed habits and just like better play, or they did like play the Kings twice. They played Charlotte. They played the Lakers without AD. Like the Pelicans are a fucking mess defensively right now, even though that was a low scoring game. Denver is not always great. Is it just like hitting the right stride? But then, I mean, Josh, like you could kind of hit a stride and if it, if you can extend that stride long enough, 6, 7, 8 games, whatever that win streak ends up being, maybe that just becomes then your habits and your confidence in like, this is the team that you mold yourself into.
Yeah, I was gonna say something similar to that. It's just like the guys they have on the team, especially a guy like Brooks, right, and younger guys, like they feed off that energy and they feed off the confidence of like seeing shots go in,
right,
and they're hitting right now, so their confidence is sky high. And so to go off what you said, like I think that just the longer they do it, it just is going to build their confidence more and more and more, and they're going to see it as their identity. And guys that like that, whose confidence can hang on, a hot streak.
Yeah.
I think it just kind of builds a base for them that they're going to start seeing themselves as we're shooters. We hit shots, we score.
Right.
Like we are that team. Right. This is us. We are that team. And so I think it's barring some just phenomenally bad crash offensively that they could turn into that team.
This is potentially a dumb question, but I want to ask you as someone who's been in this before. Their next game is Friday at the Clippers, right? So great opponent to have right now, but it's Friday at the Clippers. Is that too much time off with how they're playing right now, or do they then have chance to like go and practice and iron some stuff out?
It could possibly be too much time. I think I could speak for myself. Like too big of a break was almost a detriment because I don't know if you guys are golfers, but like some people say that the more balls you hit at the range, the worse you're going to play beforehand. You know what I mean? So I think that the quicker you can just keep the ball rolling without taking the time to like have a chance to really sit and think about the game and overanalyze things like that, sometimes that can be better. So that almost might be a problem and might be too long. It'll be interesting to see how they respond to such a long break, though.
I am buying, by the way. I don't know if they will, but I do think they're ready to make the playoffs.